Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Focus TV. Joined tonight, as always, by Octavia Wyatt, Cardell Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpey Jr. We got a lot to get into tonight. As always, we're getting closer to sports kind of ramping back up. Shout out to the NWSL. They were the first pro sports league to get going. That's women's soccer. For those of you that don't know, the games have been on CBS. And shout out to them for getting, I think, some of the highest ratings they've had, clearly for the last couple of years. And I hope that that continues. Tonight we'll be talking about, we got some NBA updates. We can talk to Cardell about some Wizards availability stuff. Got some WNBA updates. Clearly, we're going to touch on the Cam Newton news. Jamal Hayward at 9-4-50. We cannot have a show without that segment happening. And then, as always, Cardell, gets the whole rapid fire over our heads, and we get to figure out what we have this week. So, what we're going to do is get started with the NBA segment. As we said, Cardell, you're in on the availability with the Wizards this week. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about, for those that don't follow us on social yet, please, we implore that you do so now, obviously. But Cardell, what's some of the things that you heard? Some of the, the constants is they prepare to head down to Orlando.
I mean, honestly, they're in good spirits. It's not like what people think is all doom and gloom, like they about to go into war or something like that, man. It's just, they're being extra cautious, obviously. What I feel from them is excitement. Tommy Shepard, the GM, spoke yesterday, and today the head coach, Scott Brooks, spoke. Both are excited. They both acknowledged that a lot of the guys took this time off seriously. They stayed in best shape possible as far as, being prompt with a lot of the, the Zoom virtual training that you saw a lot of programs and teams doing. Kind of staying dedicated to it, or a type of diet, so their weight won't fluctuate and they can get completely out of shape and whatnot. They did as best they could under the circumstances. They're saying the players want to do more, but under the NBA guidelines, the NBA won't allow them to have physical contact just yet. And you see why with all it seems like every day is more and more reports of players having the virus, having COVID. So they're trying to kind of keep it where it's just, one-on-one training, one-on-one work until they get to Orlando. Then they can start practicing regularly. Obviously they say, a lot of people keep asking about John Wall, which we know, already that there's no chance of him playing. Matter of fact, all the games that he had rehabbing throughout the season, once COVID hit, it kind of backtracked him a little bit. So he has to get back those games, and that's what he will be doing, working on. They say back and forth between Miami and DC. The only player from the Wizards that's not going is obviously Davis Bertans. Everybody else fully committed. They're ready to go. Scott Brooks said he talked to his coaching staff and asked them, gave them, the decision is up to y'all. Respect it either way. Either y'all want to go or y'all, want to stay home. And every coach said, yeah, we want to go. So the tough part for him, he said, was just deciding which coaches should go down to Orlando, stay in the bubble. Because I think he said only about 35 people from every organization is allowed to go. So obviously everybody can't go. And, that's just,
Not to say anything.
Thought somebody had something. Okay. And, as far as making the playoffs, Tommy said, they don't want to look too far ahead, but, they're trying to manage expectations. But obviously, he's like, we there to win games. That's our job. With the opportunity to get in the playoffs, that's all the players ask for. Tommy said he will be joining the Wizards in Orlando. He won't just be up, up here in a hotel. He's going to be right there in the trenches with the guys. They obviously, for people that may not know, they signed former the Math player, Notre Dame guard, Jerry Grant, to fill Bertan's spot. Tommy said for Bill, we are going to be very protective of him in Orlando in terms of his workload, including all the players. And that's what I kind of figured, once the league decided that they were going to restart, they weren't going to have, like the typical minutes for guys if the season were continuing. they were going to, have to manage minutes because guys been late not sitting down, but they haven't competed. They haven't competed 5-on-5 in 4.5 months. It's just no way you could just throw them back in there and be like, all right, play 45 minutes a game. You asking for injury, you asking for somebody to get hurt. Scott Brooks echoed those sentiments. He said some of his toughest, if you want to call it battles with Bill, are on minutes. So he knows Bill won't want to play. He said Bill never wants to comes out, but he just like that we got to be smart. We can't risk that, man. We can't risk you potentially getting hurt, and then now Wall's ready to return, but you're hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, can we just get y'all both healthy at the same point so we can really go to war? You see what I'm saying? And both, just Tommy and Scott Brooks are both high on Admiral Schofield. He has an old school mentality. I loved him when they drafted him coming out of college. You can see it in the go-go games. He's no nonsense. He's all about the grind and showing up and putting in work and getting the W. There's really no nonsense with him. So they're saying there's going to be a lot of opportunity with him, obviously, with Bertans out, to show what he can do and impress and set himself up for next season where he can be relied on more. His role will be expanded, you know what I mean? And he could possibly be full-time with the Wizards instead of going back and forth. One thing Scott Brooks, he touched on with Rui is, early in the season about his three-point shooting, it was a little flat. You know what I mean? He had to kind of like zip line it straight to the basket for it to go in. But throughout the season, he's been working on his shot, and now he's starting to add more arc on the ball. So it has improved. But the bottom thing is Rui can do a lot of things that a lot of rookies have trouble doing, and that means he can impact the game in a lot of ways. And he said very few rookies come in and start. And Scott Brooks said he saw Rui work out yesterday, said he looks great. Looks like he's ready to go. And Scott pretty much put this out there. He said we want to compete. We want our fans to be proud of us. We want to compete for that play-in opportunity. We feel we have a chance to win those games and make the playoffs. We're focused now, and we're focused on getting better every day. And I just the mindset is let's get going, but be smart about it, which I think is shared by everyone in the league. And everybody asking about rotation. Scott Brooks' message, and Wilson, this has pretty much been consistent since he's been here. He said the guys that deserve to get on the court are the guys that deserve to get on the court. We're not giving guys opportunities just because they're a young draft pick or they're veteran. Minutes have to be earned. And Orlando's a great opportunity for guys to earn those minutes, and a great opportunity for young guys to show what they can do. And that's pretty much the summary between those two the last couple of days. Tomorrow, Brad Beal and Thomas Bryant will be on this virtual conference. So had some notes on Twitter moving forward for that before they have to up and leave in a few days.
All right. So once again, because it's our platform and we can do so once again, follow us on social at the Focus TV. Cardell will be tweeting out those updates as he's done today and yesterday, so you guys can get that because we don't have a show tomorrow. So follow us so you can get those updates. For Octavia and Raymond, if you guys had any questions, not only for Cardell, not only for just talking about the Wizards, but just essentially as we get ready to kind of prepare for the NBA kind of starting back up. Kind of in terms of like on the court things, I know one of the things I'm eager to see is we already expect the quality of play is going to be bad at the beginning. All right, let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be. You can't just resume and everything be right back to a top-notch level. That's just not being realistic. Well, one of the things I'm interested in seeing is which teams can get kind of on the same page defensively out the gate to take advantage of those early games where everyone's still trying to find their footing on the offensive end.
Well, for me, what I'm looking forward to is really the race for the 8th seed in the West. Right now, Memphis is 8, but the Blazers are right behind. Sacramento's right behind. So and the Pelicans are right behind. So, and the Pelicans before the season ended in March, were slated to have one of the easiest remaining schedules. They weren't playing many teams that were over 500. So even with this new restart and them reworking the schedules, they still kind of have a slight advantage in it, with not playing many teams that are over 500 as well. So I'm really interested to see how they bounce back. I'm interested to see how, if it's going to be easier for the veterans to kind of reacclimate themselves, or if it's going to be easier for rookies, just because they're younger, they can get their legs quicker. But of course, then they don't have as much, they don't have as much time. They haven't played as much, and they don't have that much time to figure it out. So I'm interested in a bunch of different storylines like that, and to kind of see. I'm really interested to see how the HC shakes out, because they're all so close. And even you got John Morant, Zion, the rookies that are going to be coming into this and coming into a very weird situation, unprecedented, nobody's ever seen before. So I'm just all around excited for everything, to see how it all works out. And once we get further down the line and we actually get into the playoffs and they have the seedings, it's going to be interesting, because a lot of teams play really much a lot of the season to make sure that they get home court advantage in the playoffs, and it's like nobody gets home court advantage. I feel like maybe the teams that are going to be like the most popular in the states or whatever, they may feel like it, but it's not going to be that same Game 7. I'm playing in the Staples Center, and it's going to be that type of drama. So I'm interested to see how they're all really going to work with playing, especially with no crowd. We talked about it for so long, but they've never actually had to do it since the season stopped, when they still have people in the arenas. So I'm really looking forward to all of these things.
Yeah, and something I've been thinking about just in the past couple of days is, as they as teams start to get there and they're kind of around each other, just the level of comfortability is going to increase as time goes on. I think that's going to show up on the court as well. Like, whichever players are able just to adjust to the new environment sooner. People still going to need a few games to get their legs up under them and things like that. But yeah, this is going to be weird for them, I'm sure, especially with the empty stands. So I think, I don't know how you can prepare for that, or if you can prepare for it, or what type of techniques people are going to be using to kind of acclimate themselves a little faster. But I think that's going to play a factor into the on court thing, because it's got to be weird for them. Like, they're going to be able to hear everything. Like, the when the ball bounces, it's going to echo through the whole arena. Like, it's going to be strange. Like, I love to hear like how they start to speak about it once the games get going. I just think that's going to be an interesting X factor.
All right, Cardell, did you have anything you wanted to add in terms of looking forward to the NBA's once they get started, or you guys ready to move on to the WNBA?
Just a couple of notes. I am looking forward to what Octavia said, just the race for the 8th seed. I'm also looking at the contenders as well. The Lakers and Clippers, which teams stay focused, stay locked in, on the task at hand. One thing I think a lot of people are kind of looking over is a lot of guys that had nagging injuries when the season stopped now had time to get healthy. So that's going to be a big thing as far as moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, I know Paul George, he talked about it on the Knuckleheads podcast, Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles. He was saying he said he just stopped rehabbing his shoulder like a couple weeks ago before the show. They recorded the show. He said he was rehabbing his shoulders all throughout the season and whatnot. He said this is the first time he's been healthy, and he can he can remember. You know what I mean? Same thing. Well, Mike Budenholzer over the Milwaukee Bucks. He said Giannis had time to get healthy. Now he's ready to go. He's 100%. So that's one thing I don't think a lot of people are kind of looking at, where guys, yeah, you're going to be a little fatigued, but it won't take long for them to get ramped up. It's basically been a typical off season. So basketball's a year-round sport, so I don't see them. They're going to be smart at first, but it won't take long for them to be like, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Especially putting in extra work and recovery and stuff like that. So that will be huge. I want to see what, obviously reports are J.R. Smith are about to sign with the Lakers, how that chemistry would be unfolded. Avery Bradley's a big loss, man. He gets stops. He can hit threes. And they had chemistry with him, man. That's another guy to slow down some of these lethal guards that they're going to have to deal with. Now a lot of the attention falls on, Rondo, and you can't just ask JR to come off the street. The last time he played was in 2018. It's been 2 years. and come in there and be a big piece like that. So, it's gonna be interesting to see, man. But I also wanted to know that local news, the Portland Trailblazers signed former Mount St. Joseph standout St. Bonaventure guard Jalen Adams to replace Trevor Ariza. Adams was the G League MVP runner-up behind Frank Mason with Wisconsin. Adams averaged 20.9 points a game. Just seeing him grind from St. Bonaventure, obviously that's in the A10, so I got to see him throughout his career. It's well deserved, man. He got drafted with the Hawks last year late, and he had a few games up there, but obviously with Trae Young doing what he do, it's kind of hard for a point guard to consistently get minutes. So he's been in the G League, and now he gets another opportunity, playing behind Dame and Anthony Simmons and CJ McCollum or whatever. So it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be fun. I'm actually excited to see them play in this arena where you can kind of hear the ish talking. It's going to be the elite of the elite AAU style type run. You know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly how it is at AAU. It's just that now it's the best of the best doing it. So I'm excited, man. We're going to see who really won it, man. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just
That's
to
a great
piggyback
way to
real
put
quick
it.
off
The
that
elite of the
too.
elite. Man,
Because even
that's
like you
that's
talked
great.
about people coming back from injuries and stuff, like Nurkic is coming back from the Blazers, and they when he went out in the middle of the season, that kind of hit them hard. So for that center to come back, I think it's going to be a real good race for the AFC. I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. What'd you say, Cardell?
No, go ahead.
Hey, look.
Go ahead, man.
I see you with the maturity. All right.
I just hear the Blazers name coming up a lot. That's all. I'm just saying the Blazers name come up a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I mean, somebody plays for the Blazers, so
we all know what it is. Anybody who's been watching this show long enough, y'all know. There's no reason to even comment on it. You know exactly what it is. But I'm going to also be mature and move on to the WNBA right now. One of the things we talked about last week with the WNBA was, some of the while people are opting out, they're still trying to figure out, like, everyone's hasn't decided. We shared some names last week of the players who have legit decided that they opted out of the season, opted not to play this season rather. And, the list isn't final. That said, it's opened up some roster spots, and there's some 2020 draftees who were initially cut before everything went left that have found new homes. We could start with Beatrice Premier, the center from Miami. She landed with the Sun. She was the 20th overall pick by the Sparks. Jalen Agnew, she's with the Atlanta Dream. She's the 24th overall pick by the Washington Mystics. You got Joyner Holmes. She's with the New York Liberty. That was a 19th overall pick by Seattle. And then Taya Cooper, she's landed with the Sparks. She was the 18th overall pick by the Mercury. So one of the biggest things was we got a chance to see, opportunity has arisen. We talked in NBA on that side with some players opting out, some younger players get opportunity, and some of those young players are already getting this is a huge opportunity for them, where you go from you get drafted to you get cut, waived, and then now you got another chance to make the most of to really prove that you can play in this league. Which ordinarily, once you get cut, you kind of wait to see if you can go overseas and then work your way back into the WNBA. But there's opportunity for some of these young ladies here. The other thing, wanted to mention the Mystics got their rings. So shout out to the Washington Mystics for getting their rings. Obviously, it's cool because we already know with the social distancing and everything, they didn't get a chance to have the type of ring ceremony that you would have with fans and whatnot of that nature because of, what's going on in the world right now. That said, we already know about Natasha Cloud and Latoya Sanders. We covered that a couple weeks ago about them opting to not play this season. They have signed 2 players to fill those roster spots. And Elena Coates, it's the former big from South Carolina. She played there with Asia Wilson. And Shea Petty, who was on the Mystics roster last year. She was on the roster and also on the staff at times. So shout out to them for that opportunity. And again, shout out to the reigning WNBA champs, the Washington Mystics. I guess I just want to ask you guys, what do you think about the opportunity some of these young players are getting with these roster spots opening up?
Oh, one more addition
Um,
to who got signed, Stella Johnson from
Go
Ryder. She, Chicago Sky
oh
picked
yeah,
her
yeah.
up. She led D1 last year, and 24, nearly 25 a game as a senior, and was selected 29th by the Phoenix Mercury. I just wanted to add that in. So she kind of makes that lethal backcourt with Diamond DeShields, Courtney Vandersloot, Quigley even deeper. So just wanted to add her in there. But go ahead, Ron Raymond.
No, yeah, I mean, I think it's great, man, especially since they basically got their chance to prove themselves pretty much taken away from them. With with COVID and everything shutting down, there was no typical training camp or things like that for them to earn a roster spot. So it's real good that they get an opportunity to kind of just kind of show what they can do and get an opportunity to play. With and it's good that people are getting to opt out, due to health concerns or social justice or whatever they want to pursue. They get to do that, and then these young girls get their opportunity. So it's pretty much a win-win from where I'm sitting. Um, just like on the NBA side, guys get an opportunity to get in there and play, maybe set themselves up for the future. Like, who knows? Like, once the ball goes up in the air, then the possibilities are pretty much endless. But yeah, this is a great thing for the WNBA. Like, it's already so hard to crack into that league, and then with with everything that's going on, it made it virtually impossible for some. Like, we talked about it when we did the draft show. We knew some of these picks just weren't going to be on the roster, and for them to get kind of a second chance, even with the overseas opportunity being taken away this year, that's monumental. And yeah, I'm glad it's unfolding this way.
Octavia, Cardell, you guys anything else to add as far as the WNBA goes?
I mean, just piggybacking off of what Raymond said, I believe it's like perfect timing for everybody. It works out for the people who just feel like they can't commit to it, whether it's like you said, social injustice or health concerns. And it's always, to me, it just reiterates that you always got to be ready. Those players, they thought they were going to have the opportunity, going into the draft, and then everything didn't work out, but they still had to be ready. So this proves that, for people who think that it's over, like you always got to keep fighting. You never know when your number is going to be called, so you got to be ready at all times. So I just think this proves that, and it gives those players opportunities to go out there and prove themselves and prove people wrong. For people to say, like, you didn't pick me, this is why you should have. And like Raymond said, hopefully maybe they're able to work this into an actual roster spot for the years to come and be in the WNBA.
All right, we're gonna take our first break of tonight. When we get back, gonna talk a little NFL. Then we got rapid fire a little later, and of course 9-4-50 before that. You're watching the Focus TV, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As you guys can tell, we're very excited for many of the storylines, both the NBA, WNBA. That said, we got a couple of notable things happen on the football side of things. I don't know, Octavia, we're getting closer to the return of your segment if, everything goes on track. Seems like the NFL is determined to play no matter what happens. So I guess your segment will definitely be coming back sooner than later.
I mean, who knows right now? They're trying to operate as business as usual, but the Hall of Fame game getting canceled was kind of like the first inclination that there may be some type of hiccup with the season, and they even just canceling it so far in advance. It's kind of telling. I'm hoping that they're able to have a season. I believe that they will start the season. I just don't know if they'll be able to get through the whole season, just because they're not working as a bubble, per se, like how they are in the WNBA and the NBA. Like, that hasn't come up as an option yet, but I'm sure they're still discussing it. I don't even know if that's something you can do. It's hard to have a bubble where you have a 53-man roster for 32 for 30 some teams. It's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
So that would be really, really kind of like, I don't know how they would be able to work that out. I feel like the only thing that they can really hope for is that, we don't hit this second wave, but that's not looking well as it is now. We know we're going into a second wave as of now. Even though we're talking about the NFL and the NBA, the Nuggets just have to close their training facility due to more positive testing from their player and their staff. So it's obviously not slowing down right now. I personally think it has a lot to do with how people are acting with the virus. They're not taking precautions, so it's not working. But the canceling of the Hall of Fame game for me, like that was like the first like okay. And then you got a D2 school and HBCU and Morehouse canceling their college season altogether. That was the first team to actually come out and say that they're canceling their season. So I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know if that's going to be the first of many to come or just the first and that's it. So it's going to be a wild ride. I was planning on going to California this year, but I might not be able to make it with everything going on. I wanted to go out there for a game, but there were talks of maybe doing like limited seating for those venues, because as hard as it is for me to imagine NBA games with no players, with no crowd, it's like 10 times more hard for me to imagine a football game with no crowd. Like I don't know why it's the same thing, but I don't know. It's just crazy to think, but these are the times we're in.
Nah, for sure. On a sadder note, I want to acknowledge the passing of a great member of the Washington football team's organization, and Joe Bugle. He passed recently at 80 years old. He spent 32 years in the NFL, largely known for the work he did in Washington. AKA, this guy was the architect of the Hogs. We hear about him a lot when Washington fans talk about their glory days. One of the reasons why that offensive line was official. It's real when you get a nickname. It's even more real when it lasts for however many years following it. So, obviously, condolences to his family. But, just want to take some time to acknowledge him and obviously what he meant to the Washington organization. All right, so to jump from that to current time, like within the last 24 hours, we've been talking about for a while, the Panthers let go of Cam Newton. They've been extremely disrespectful since. They had some social media polls talk about who was one of the most prominent player in their franchise. Left this man off the list. Shout out to Carolina, because that's just a really mature thing to do. Shout out to my man Owen Reese. This saying that I will never forget as long as I live: bad teams do bad things. Yeah, that's just crazy. But fast forward to now, Patriots, Jarrett Stidham, not so fast as Bill Belichick. They signed one Cameron league minimum, $1.05 million. The incentives in said contract take it as high as $7.5 million. His deal is eerily similar to Ryan Tannehill's deal with the Titans last year. Ryan Tannehill got about $2 million last year with up to $4 million in incentives. Factor in the Titans' playoff run, and he earned $5.5 million. And then the Titans, doing what NFL teams do best, they paid the quarterback regardless of what the running back did in carrying that team as far as they went. But that's another story for another day. So I want to ask you guys your initial thoughts when you heard that Bill Belichick and company got their hands on one Cam Newton. Octavia, we can start with you.
I wasn't surprised at all. I was just waiting for it to actually happen. It to me, it makes perfect sense. During the draft, they didn't go after any prominent, quarterbacks at all. And as much as everybody wanted to believe that Bill was good with Stidham, I didn't really buy it. Cam wasn't making a lot of noise. He was just. I feel like that they had already had this conversation, that they were just waiting for the right time to actually do it. I'm excited for him. you know, to be completely honest, I'm eager to see a black quarterback in a Patriots uniform, like for real. To see how, I'm very excited to see that. And the Panthers they did him wrong. I don't like the way that they, kind of acted like he didn't basically take y'all to a Super Bowl. Yeah, you didn't get the results that you wanted after that Super Bowl, but you wouldn't even had the chance if it wasn't out for Cam. Um, I understand probably why it took the Patriots so long, really, this time. Because Cam has had a lot of injuries over these last couple of seasons, and with the pandemic going on, it's got to be tough to get him in for an actual workout, make sure he's actually healthy. So I wasn't surprised at all. Bill does Bill things all the time, so didn't surprise me one bit.
Right.
Yeah, like Octavia said, this is pretty much par for the course for them. I was just waiting for it to become official since he's been released. I got a little problem with this contract though, but that's another conversation for another day. But I mean, I can't recall a MVP quarterback at the age of 31 getting a deal like this. But it is what it is. We know how that goes. But yeah, excited to see what happens up there. I mean, why anybody would want Bill Belichick to get his hands on a player like this? That's not a Patriots fan. I have no clue, but he got him, so I think he's happy. That's a great person to have come in behind Tom, who's been a staple there for the past 17, 18 years. So yeah, it looks like they're gonna pretty much keep the train rolling with that. But yeah, exciting things. Hopefully, they do get to play this year, so we can see what they do up there with him.
Cardell, as the only resident member of the show who's a fan of the AFC team.
As a media person, I'm happy to see him get back on his feet. I was kind of nervous that he wouldn't be back in the league. They would just try to, slowly just move on, keep him out there like he couldn't play anymore. He was injured. So in a sense, I'm happy that he's going to arguably the best organization, if not in the NFL, probably sports, and getting to learn, getting a chance to even get better under the guru, man. You know what I mean? It's just with that defense and what they already got lined up, it's scary to see what they're gonna do. But as a fan, I'm sick and tired of the Patriots, man. Just when I thought it was safe, I thought what we had to deal with was the Ravens, the Chiefs. I mean, I'm in the gym working out. I ain't been in the gym in 4 months since March or whatever. I'm happy. I look up on the screen, I see Bill Belichick in a press conference, and this dude actually smiled talking about Cam. So I know it's gonna be problems, man. I'm like, God, man, he's smiling. He never smiles for nothing. He never, dog. He up there happy as I don't know what, man. It's just giving him compliments. It's man. But it's the saying. Me and my folks got great organizations winning organizations move a certain way. They do great things, and bad organizations do bad things. That's why they stay bad. And I mean, he's like Ram said, he's 31. If this dude brings even half of what we know he's capable of, that's another 10 years of dealing with Belichick and Cam with that defense, man. You see what I'm saying, man? It just sets him up for another run, man. It's just, man, man. Just go ahead, man. Let's go.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just run down a list of some things because how people do off the early since people are out of sight. Sometimes people choose it, out of sight, out of mind, and like Cardell said, try to pretend like he's just slowly gonna go away. Like I'm old enough to remember when some of y'all were out here screaming at Kyle Allen stuff last year. Funny guys. Let's talk about what New England's getting. So Cam is one of 3 players in NFL history with 25,000 passing yards, 4,000 rushing yards. The other 2 are one Randall Cunningham and a whole Steve Young for his career. And I think it's easy to say that Carolina during his tenure there. Didn't exactly do the greatest job of surrounding him with the kind of talent one should. Despite that, 68-55-1 as a starter. He's tied for 9th in quarterback wins since 2011. Obviously, we know about the 2015 MVP, clearly. But I don't want to talk about the 2015 MVP year because that's too easy and people are trying to make it seem like that's 10 years ago. So 2018, before his body started to break down, Cam was cooking. North Turner offense, again, cooking. He completed 68% of his passes, all right? Last time I checked, that's a pretty decent number. I'm not too good at math, but it's kind of high. We got this handy-dandy chart here where somebody took the time to take 2018 Cam with 2019 Brady and just look at these numbers. Some of them are eerily similar, and some of them you see where Cam was a little better in play action. Cam 8 in play action, 77.5 completion percentage in play action. 77, all right? 8.3 yards an attempt, no interceptions. Crazy, right? The 5 to 7 step dropbacks. They're very similar. Tom had the edge of completion percentage, but again, very similar because a lot of people are like, oh man, it's going to turn into some old, they're expecting Cam to go up there and it's going to be the Ravens offense. There's no way Josh McDaniels is about to turn what they do into Greg Roman. All right, like that's an insult. And I'm not a big Josh McDaniel fan. This is just being honest. We've known for years one of the things that the Patriots do is they make tweaks to their offense weekly by quarter, depending on what they have available to them. And also, like Cardell said, once Bill starts smiling or showing any type of human-like emotion, you done messed up. You've really messed up. We've seen this guy ever come to pressers and go full Greg Popovich. He don't even play around. Just, I'm going to say some stuff. Y'all, please let me get off this stage. But again, something very interesting, because what a lot of smart coaches they do, again, the elite coaches do, you identify the talent that gives you trouble. Anybody want to take a guess as what Cam's record against the Pats is?
Undefeated.
Cool. Yeah, it's only 2 games, but he's 2-0. The completion percentage, 71.9 to a Bill Belichick defense, 71.9, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 128.2 passer rating. Again, this is to a Bill Belichick defense. We know what the defense is like. I don't care about what year it was, what have you. Those types of quarterbacks give him trouble. We can go back. I know y'all don't like this name. Cap was one of the last guys to go up into New England and get New England out the way. Cam gives him trouble. Mahomes gives them trouble. Lamar gives them trouble. There's a reason for these things, folks. Why? Because even as great as those defenses are, the dual threat ability, it pokes holes in everything. And one of the things I know people probably didn't watch too much when Jimmy Garoppolo played there or where Jacoby Brissett played. But unlike Tom, they ran a whole lot more RPOs because both of them were more mobile than Tom. What are you going to – do you know the bind you're going to be in defensively defending a healthy Cam Newton once, he tucks it into the belly of the running back? You know what those throwing windows are going to look like? Not only that, Cam's always done more with less. Like I can't think of a time in Carolina where like, man, that's one of the top duos in the league. Yeah, never. They never did that ever. Never have they ever. They still don't have those. Kudos to CMC for what he did, but he's pretty much the best wide receiver they have on the roster, and he plays running back. And we know that, I see a lot of people knocking what the Patriots have offensively, and that's cool, but you can't think about what it was for Tom. You got to think about what it's going to look like with Cam. Everything changes a little bit because now your quarterback, it goes from your quarterback being a distributor to a playmaker. And those are 2 totally different things. And quarterbacks that are themselves playmakers versus being just distributors, they're the ones that put defenses in these ugly places they just don't want to go. Like, you really don't want to be there at all because there's nothing you can do about it. But I'm going to jump off my soapbox about Cam because, we got a lot of time. We don't even know what's going to happen. Also, I would probably venture to say if Cam was healthy last year, is Ron Rivera the Washington Redskins head coach?
No.
Just going to leave you guys just some food for thought. But exit stage left. We're going to head to this break. Jamal Hayward this week, 9-4-50 breakdown. What does he have for us this week? He's breaking down up and under move from different scoring areas on the court. Again, an up and under move from different scoring areas on the court. We got our second break after that. And when we come back, Cardell, it'll take the remainder of our time for rapid fire. You're watching the Focus TV.
All right, today on this hot day, we're going to work on up and unders in different ways, different shots you can use the up and under. Now, excuse my limping, messed my foot up hooping yesterday, so I'm going to try my best. So we're going to go out the mid post here. Catch here. I'm just going to do a simple open up. My pivot foot is my left foot. So I jab baseline, make the defender shift that way. Then I step here, jab baseline, cover ground, shot fake. I'm going up, down, under. I'm going down here. As I go down here, I'm moving the ball to my right side to hide it away from the defender. Then I step through here, covering ground as he's going this way. I step through, layup. So, again, jab here, shot fake, step through, layup. So I can do it on drives also. So if I drive left, 1, 2, right, left, up, shot fake, step through, put the ball on my right side, here, up, layup. I can go either way. Now, if I'm on the perimeter, jab here, 1, 2, shot fake, step through, up, one or the other. So you got it on perimeter shots, you got it out the mid post, and you got it on drives. All right, today on this hot day, we're gonna work on up and unders in different ways, different shots you can use the up and under. Now, excuse my limping, messed my foot up hooping yesterday, so I'm gonna try my best. So we're gonna go out the mid post here. Catch here. I'm just gonna do a simple open up. My pivot foot is my left foot. So I jab baseline, make the defender shift that way. Then I step here, jab baseline, cover ground, shot fake. I'm going up, down, under. I'm going down here. As I go down here, I'm moving the ball to my right side to hide it away from the defender. Then I step through here, covering ground as he's going this way. I step through, layup. So, again, jab here, shot fake, step through, layup. So I can do it on drives also. So if I drive left, 1, 2, right, left, up, shot fake, step through, put the ball on my right side, here, up, layup. I can go either way. Now, if I'm on the perimeter, jab here, 1, 2, shot fake, step through, up, one or the other. So you got it on perimeter shots, you got it out the mid post, and you got it on drives.
All right. Once again, want to give a special shout out to Jamal Hayward for continuing to knock out these 9-4-50 segments each and every week. All right. So, we get into that portion of the show. With Cardell, you're in full control, sir. Rapid fire. I guess, let's see what you got this week.
All right, we're going to stay on Cam for a little bit. Ron Rivera, new Washington coach, said circumstances didn't allow for the team to go after Cam Newton. He said, if the circumstances had allowed us, I would not have had an issue with that. As he told 670 to score on Monday, I would have been very confident, comfortable going after him and bringing him to be a part of what we're doing here. Obviously, Dwayne Haskins is the current quarterback. He's 23. He's only had 7 starts, but Washington drafted him to be his quarterback of the present and future. Rivera didn't want Newton to be a progress stopper for Haskins, whom the coach said they will show patience. Rivera said that's the benefit of being a new head coach, is that we can be patient. We can put these guys through workouts and get to know what we have and feel good about it or don't feel good about it. then we have to go out and make some changes. But until we get that opportunity to know what we have, it would have been very hard to bring a guy in who's had such a solid career, who was a league MVP at one time, and expect a young guy to get his chances to grow. What are your thoughts with that? And start with Octavian.
I can see what he's saying. I get what he's saying, because I feel like for Haskins, it probably would be a slight setback for him. Like you said earlier, as a part of the media, I understand, the reason why. As a fan, I'm happy it didn't happen. They don't need Cam. Cam can go to the AFC, have his fun over there. So let's go ahead and break that up. But I get what he's saying. It probably would have been a good fit for them, and I'm sure Cam and Ron always had a good relationship. But I don't think that they had any type of issues. I just think that, his injuries, and then how bad that they were playing, and all mixed in with new ownership, wanting to start fresh. I think that's kind of what got Ron out the door. But I'm fine with where he ended up, get up as long as he didn't end up over here. Yeah, and I think, Haskins, I feel like he takes steps towards it. I just don't know how long it's going to take him. I feel like he's been a little bit slower, but it could just be, like we talked about as well, bad organizations do bad things. So, I don't think they had a lot of good things in place for him anyway. So I'm interested to see how he improves this year underneath Ron Rivera and the changes that he's made.
Raymond, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you, Octavia. Don't bring that nonsense to our division, man. Take that somewhere else.
We got enough problems.
But it makes sense what Ron is saying, and I know, when Ron was named the coach, then Cam was released. I know that thought was swirling in everybody's mind. Could Cam possibly end up there? But yeah, I do think it would have been a detriment to Haskins' development. Given how unstable that situation was last year, and then to bring a guy like Cam in, you're not going to bring him there not to play. This is basically like the resurgent stage of his career. So you're not going to bring him there to sit on the bench. So yeah, I think they just need to give the young guy a chance, man. Let him prove himself or not, however that may shake out. But yeah, I don't. If they did bring Cam in, I don't think that would have messed up Haskins mentally, first of all, and then added to the fact that he probably wouldn't have been on the field, barring an injury or something. So yeah, it worked out best for everyone, for Haskins, for Cam, for the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Eagles too. So yeah, I'm happy how this shook out. Kudos to them. Good job.
Good job, bro.
Y'all are petty.
On you, Wilson.
Y'all are really, I just think it didn't make sense.
We got all these dudes in the AFC, man.
Look, it's whatever. They all do the same thing every year about the same time. They check out the season like clockwork. Yeah, I just think it didn't make any sense, right? You had 1 year with Dwayne, wasn't exactly a functional situation. You got Ron, you got some stability. And just for example, look at what Dwayne's first offseason looks like. Dude physically looks like a different person already. I know it's not to get too excited about people's workout videos and stuff like that, but for me, the way they were talking about him in terms of his mental or whatnot, in terms of kind of still being a kid, or even so just the involvement, like the difference between regimes. All we've seen is the kid working. It doesn't make sense to get in the middle of that at all until you really find out what you have, and that's going to take a couple years because you can't like in my eyes, this is year one. Last year doesn't even matter. It was dysfunctional. It's irrelevant. So this is ground, like this is year one for me with Dwayne in Washington, and that whole young group. You gotta just let it go organically, and you see where you go with it. Again, Cam's 31. If Cam was like 37, that's different. How long is he gonna keep playing? He's 31. It just didn't make any sense when you just took Dwayne and knowing that Dwayne was just in a situation where you had a coach who, it's not like they they went to put the kid in the best of situations. So, that's that. But also with y'all being petty, like when a kid starts getting on y'all nerves, I'll be right here asking y'all what's good. Don't worry.
I'm like, get him out of here too.
I mean, we don't have no control over that. Like, I mean, he was drafted there. It is what it is.
He
But
already
I mean,
did, right?
you don't go to another neighborhood and bring, a bully from there to the neighborhood
Not a
you in
bully.
to fight. Yeah, man. Nah, stay over there, Slim.
Go ahead, Cardell. We got another question.
Yeah. Imani Bates commits to Michigan State. Imani Bates is seen as the top high school player in the country, regardless of class. Definitely the number one college basketball prospect for the class of 2022. He announced his commitment to Michigan State yesterday. He said, "They get all my respect. I love how they coach. Coach Izzo, I like how they focus on defense more than offense. That's a big key in basketball. People don't understand that on and off the court. He has passing. He's just an amazing guy overall." The 6'9" Lincoln High School guard became the youngest person to win Gatorade High School Boys Basketball National Player of the Year as a 16-year-old sophomore after his exploits last season. As a freshman, he led his school to his first state title and was cruising to a second this year before COVID-19 pandemic prematurely ended the season. Bates averaged 33.1 points, 9.1 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and 2.3 steals as a sophomore last season. He's being compared to Kevin Durant now. I saw him play here in D.C. in the middle school all-star game. He was leaving 6th grade on his way to 7th grade. I said it then that he was Kevin Durant. Got killed for it. People was like, you tripping. How can you see that now? You put too much pressure on him. Looks like I was right. You know what I'm saying? You just got to tell it what it is. If he's that good, he's that good. And I don't got nothing against. I mean, come on now. You know what I mean? And honestly, he was ahead of Kevin Durant at that same point. If you can match them up at the same time then. And right now he's ahead because, as a 10th grader, KD was a rising role player for National Christian Academy. He was about to start to become what he's become. You know what I mean? This kid is already ahead of that. I mean, it's sick where he's at, man. But he obviously has Kevin Durant as a gauge and blueprint to watch and see what to do and stuff like that. But the boy is ultra talented. I mean, I know he's committed to Michigan State, but there's no way in hell I can see him being on the college campus, man. That boy getting ready for the league, man. It is what it is, man. I think they're gonna waive that high school league by the time he's ready to come out. He gone. He's just too good. There's no point of wasting time in college. But if he do go to college, it'd be exciting and it'd be great to see. We saw with you, Ryan. If you got something to add.
Yeah, I mean I was just kind of surprised he committed this early, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he sees 1 second in the NCAA. If they don't change the rule by then, I'm pretty sure they're going to either tap him for this G League initiative or he might explore that overseas option. By the time it's time for him to go to college, he's going to be so far ahead of that. Like it would. Only reason he would go is just to get that big man on campus experience for a few months. Because I don't think it's going to do anything to help his game or development. Like just looking at where he is now, and like you said, Cardell, even seeing him, those few years ago, like his trajectory is just amazing. So yeah, it'll be interesting. If Izzo does get to have him for the 1 year, good for him. But yeah, I doubt that's going to happen.
Octavian.
Yeah, I agree. And definitely agree with you, Cardell, about how he's further along than KD was at his age currently. Because, like you said, he's 16 years old, out here just being amazing. So, I don't think he does either. Like we talked about, if they're going to change the rules, they're going to allow them to go straight to the league now from high school again, or Definitely like if he does a G League program, like I feel like whatever happens is going to be what he wants to do. Like he could do whatever he wants. Like nobody's going to be able to tell him like, no, don't do this, don't do that, because like you can see it. And I'm definitely surprised that he did commit this early, as a sophomore, but he couldn't have picked a better team. Izzo is, one of the greatest coaches, so he can't really fail whatever he does. I'm very interested to see when he gets to the league and see him play with the pros.
Go ahead, Wilson.
Yeah, he's not spending any time on college. I just think it was one of the things where, hey, look, this is one question you can't ask me anymore. It's done. And it's cool.
Point.
Leave me
alone.
The other thing, Cardell, you told me about him a couple years ago, and you told me that. I started looking. I was like, yeah, you're right. Then this year happened, and man, their games are so eerily similar. It's crazy. You could tell the kid using him as the blueprint. His jumper even got a whole lot of the current one in it. Just the movement skills, period. So the other thing with the rule go, this is the type of dude, if you're NBA owners or whatnot, this is the type of dude you push to get that rule done for in time. You don't want to wait for this.
If you got a chance to get them, if you win and you ain't pushing for it because you got to deal with them, that's the other side
They're
of it.
like, no, make them stay.
Right. Like, I ain't trying to deal with that.
Right.
Leave them in school, dog. But we're gonna end it with this one. This is something that should wake a lot of people up and shut up a lot of narratives regarding Colin Kaepernick. Former wide receiver Jeremy Curley, 49ers wide receiver, he said Colin Kaepernick electrified the offense in 2016. One of the false narratives that still lingers regarding Colin Kaepernick is that he's not currently in the league because he snuck up the joint in 2016. And people use the fact that he was benched by Blaine Gabbert as proof. Well, actually, if you look at it, he wasn't benched for Blaine Gabbert. Colin Kaepernick wasn't healthy at the start of the season, following three off-season surgeries. He sat out the first two preseason games, and it wasn't those because he wasn't healthy enough to be in uniform after that. But once Kaepernick got healthy, the 49ers benched Gabbert, and Kaepernick went on to throw 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Curley said all the protests and the controversy aside, Cap was a ball player. He told Matt Burrows of The Athletic, he's a good ball player. You know what I mean? There's a reason why San Fran paid him what they paid him. There's a reason why they went to the Super Bowl. Curley, who led the team in receiving that season, said Kaepernick quickly made a difference. He said, we were kind of missing something throughout the season, Curley said. But when he came on, it's like he kind of electrified the offense and got us going and stuff. It was unfortunate we couldn't get more than one win out of it. But like I said, personally, my funnest time playing football was 2016. And the big question is, so why didn't the 49ers win more than 2 games in 2016? Well, linebacker Michael Wilhortz told Burrows Cap was playing with scout team players. He wasn't playing with starters. All the starters had either been hurt by the end of the year or weren't trying to play by the end of the year because of the record. And so he was out there playing with dudes who were known to be on the scout team or practice squad. I think he was the best player on the team. I think by the end of the year, we were in games and won a game because of him. Just what are your thoughts on this? Wilson, I know we're going to get to you. I know this is your mom. Well, you go ahead and start, Wilson, because this is your mom. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go. Let it out, Wilson. I know you've been holding on to it. Let it out, brother.
How you going to do this to me at the end of the show, too? So we're probably definitely going to go over. Shout out to Cardell for the setup. We're definitely going over the time limit. Jeremy Curley told the absolute truth. Because prior to 2016, Jeremy Curley was Jeremy Curley. You tell anybody in the league Jeremy Curley was your most productive wide receiver, you're like, man, you in trouble. That team was in trouble. So real quick, I know people like to use numbers conveniently as best, right? So that 2016 season, the Niners went 1-10. Cap's total career numbers are 28 and 30. So you take away that, again, not great at math, but that 1-10, you take that away real quick. That's 27 and 21 in his career, right? Before playing with less than ideal talent in skill position players, all right? This is a team where Bruce Miller was Bruce Miller was a legit target, and Bruce Miller is a far cry from the current fullback the Niners have, who's actually talented. Not to knock Bruce Miller, just if you're throwing a Bruce Miller on purpose, you're in trouble. Jeremy Curley, before he got to the Niners, was a guy. He was on the Jets, he was a backup slot wide receiver, right? He was wide receiver 1. That's how bad that group was. Like, it was really, really. It was tough to watch that season, but I watched that whole season just because of all the crap that people were saying. And if you want to look at some of the numbers, honestly, how do you not throw more picks to that type of talent? Like, I think that's one of the things that's shown through. People talk all the time, you heard better quarterbacks get that excuse. Like, I mean, literally, we're talking about Cam and Tom at the top of the show or whatever. Anytime Tom hasn't had ideal talent, or it's, like last year, all the blame was put on the wide receivers. I'll tell you right now, if Cap had that group of wide receivers, they don't go 1-10. That's how bad the group in 2016 was. There was no N'Keal Harry with good size. There was no Julian Edelman who you can count on. There wasn't a Sony Michel. And it's so bad, just to give you an idea in terms of like the difference between the regimes. Raheem Mostert was on that roster. Raheem Mostert did not play. This is the same Raheem Mostert we just saw the current regime make a playoff run with, going wild in the playoffs, right? He was on the 2016 roster, and the only type of snaps he got was special teams. This is how dysfunctional and jacked up that franchise was. Again, Kyle just got an extension. He's the first Niner coach to get an extension since Steve Mariucci. This is how dysfunctional that place was. It was disgusting. It was a toxic work environment. This was any type of other quarterback. We would throw this whole year away and be like, what you expect him to do? What you want him to do? To drop back and target Garrett Selleck? That's not the good Selleck. That's like the Brent Selleck played for the Eagles. You want him to target a career backup tight end? Yeah, that's the move. That's the guy, right? And to be honest, almost that whole group of position players, they are no longer in the NFL. I'm not great at math. How long ago was 2016?
4
seasons.
4 years, right? 4 years, 3 seasons. How the heck is no one still in the NFL? That's crazy, right? You're in the NFL? Sheesh. The whole skill position group is not in the NFL. Most of the linemen are not in the NFL. It was real, man. It's just one of those things where narratives and everything sound good, but I can promise you, y'all did not sit back. All y'all talking crazy did not sit and watch that trash team, because it was a dumpster fire in preseason when Gabbert was starting. And the other thing, if you did take the time to watch that team, this is the one thing I'll give Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly knew Blaine Gabbert was trash off top, and he said it so many times. Colin just has to get healthy. Well, is Gabbert a better? Colin just has to get healthy. Shouldn't Gabbert? Colin just has to get healthy. It's the only thing. That's the only positive thing Chip Kelly did all year, was reinforce the fact that Blaine is only here because the dude's dead. That's it. Shoulder surgery. If something was wrong in the lower body as well, like, that's how Blaine Gabbert starts. Anybody check on Blaine Gabbert since? Has he set the league on fire? Yeah, man, it's just crazy, man. I remember that year because it was horrible to watch. It was bad. It was really bad. Y'all see some of these clips? He's throwing the ball to running backs.
What you Octavia?
I mean, what did you even say after that? I mean, I don't even know what to say after that. I agree. You're right. I just feel like it was just the hot thing to say it was that he was trash. That's just what was cool, what they felt like would justify everything that happened. I mean, any person that actually understands the game and watches it, you would have known. Like, I mean, I can't even say anything else after everything wasn't just said, except I agree. I concur.
Hey, go ask the Packers. Go ask the Packers. See what the Packers think.
Go ahead, close it out, Ryan. If you got something to say.
Man, as usual, Wilson drops the mic, man. There's nothing to add. I mean, everybody know what it is with the cap situation. Like, isn't. I mean, what dude said was just for reaffirmation. Like everybody knows why he's not in the league. There's no need to expound on that. Like, and even if he was trash, how many trash quarterbacks have been signed since then? Like, so
Are
that's
still
not
in the
even an
league.
excuse. Yeah, right. So no need to even get into that. Like we know what the deal is.
My man Chase Daniel's still out here cashing checks.
So who was it? It was
Look,
somebody.
I'm
I would
sorry.
take Cap. I'll take Cap over Nate Sudfeld any day. Okay.
They
Don't
asked,
disrespect
they
Nate.
asked,
So you going too dang far now. See, that's the problem. See, that's the problem right there. Don't, hey Nate, man, I got you home.
Take it
You
any
save the
day.
season. You gonna have an interview. We're gonna bring you on for an interview, and you and Octavia can just talk.
No, I forgot who it was for
Like,
the Bears. They asked. They said they asked him, "Do you think Kaepernick was blackballed from the league?" His response was, "We signed Mike Glennon." So that pretty much that lets you know what the situation is.
hey, look,
So,
man.
yeah,
So,
man, like-
and again, not to knock Nick Foles, my man got 17 million guaranteed. Cam just got 1 million.
But Nick Foles is
Again,
a
not to
Super
knock
Bowl
Nick
winning
Foles.
quarterback.
So is Trent Dilfer.
No.
I'm sorry, I just had to
All right.
say that.
Oh,
It's okay.
Nick shouldn't have left.
We had Brock Osweiler. We had Brock Osweiler in 2017, man. Like,
Well, I got another one for you, Cardell, and I don't mean to
signed
go
Josh
back there.
McCown last year.
Paxton Lynch. Y'all remember Paxton Lynch? They were caping for
Paxton Lynch. Yeah. And then
I could
and
do
then
this.
Drew roughed him as a rookie, and it was like, yeah.
Like it's crazy that people got the nerve to talk about stuff, and they love numbers, but when you want to throw
Listen,
somebody away, you never mention the numbers. Isn't that interesting? You never mention his numbers.
Man.
He's just trash. You never touch the numbers. Come on, man.
Listen, man, when Denver came here, my wife surprised me, got me tickets to the game. It's cold as hell. It was like 25, getting sick. And I saw Brock Osweiler so bad, I was just looking around like, you might as well sub a fan in. Like, fulfill a dream. What's the point? Like, that's how bad he was. Bro, he tried to galvanize the troops. He was like, come on. Dudes literally got up and walked away from him. I just said, oh, man. But you going to look at Cap and be like, why come on, dog. Why he ain't in the league, he bad. Come on, bro.
Hey, man, look. And lastly, before we go, look at the Bears. Y'all did this whole thing and made up somehow y'all saw Mitch Trubisky and thought that was an NFL quarterback. Sean Watson wins the championship. Patrick Mahomes beats out Baker Mayfield. This boy run to Oklahoma. Nobody second guesses why you couldn't play at Texas Tech. Because that's the first thing that came to my mind. Why you run from Texas Tech? Oh, there's a stud there. Interesting. So Lamar plays in the ACC. Nah, I know he cooked. I know Mitch played them too, but I'm going to take these 13 games. I'm going to extrapolate these numbers. He's a winner. 5. You might as well do the SpongeBob thing. 4 years later, you don't pick up his 5th-year option. Nick Foles pretty much could be one. And the Pats just got Cam Newton for the nothing because you took Mitch Trubisky 4 years ago. Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in, man. Each and every week. We truly appreciate you guys. Get over to finestbag.com, mymindosports.com, and always follow the Focus TV right here on social. And again, we'll see you guys soon. I'm sure we'll have more updates next week because things seem to steadily progress. So thanks again for watching this episode of Focus TV. See you guys soon.
All right, see y'all.
Yeah.